Welcome to a new podcast episode on the YouTube channel. We're really excited to have you. So today I have a very special guest, Violeta. Violeta de la Serna is the founder and creative director of Studio de la Serna, an interior design practice based in Greece, specializing in turnkey projects for expats, retirees, second homes, and premium short-term rentals. With over 20 years of experience in fine art, collectible design, and luxury interiors, she brings an art-forward yet business-minded approach to every space, ensuring properties not only look beautiful, but also photograph exceptionally well and hold long-term value. Trained in art history and architecture in Florence, Italy, Violeta built her career designing galleries and exhibitions across the U.S., from the Miami Design District to luxury cruise ships and major international art fairs. In 2020, she relocated to Greece to lead villa restorations in the Peloponnese, which inspired her to launch Studio de la Serna. Today, she helps expats navigate the realities of renovating and designing homes in Greece with transparent pricing, vetted local partners, and a refined Miami meets Mediterranean aesthetic rooted in quality, strategy, and cultural understanding. So, Violeta, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. How are you feeling?
Thanks. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
My first question for you is, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see expats make when they try to design or renovate their home in Greece without any professional assistance?
Okay, that could be a really long list, but definitely the first mistake, and I know because I did it myself, was I'm going to do this myself without a professional, without an architect, without somebody that's local and knows the market. There are so many differences from Greece to the rest of the world. Like, I have this saying, it's called #Greece when something's not going as planned. And I'm just like, oh, it's just a #Greece moment, and that happens a lot in renovations, because you have to remember that a lot of these properties haven't been renovated since 1970s, 1980s, 90s, or maybe it's 200 years old, So definitely, yeah, that's the biggest challenge. I would say that's the biggest mistake. Don't go out and do this on your own without a professional.
And what are some red flags during a renovation project that expats may not notice?
So again, there's quite a few, but definitely, okay, my top one, like as a professional interior designer, my biggest one is when I'm working with, let's say, a new tradesperson or a contractor. The biggest red flag that you can get is, oh, we only take cash, right? Because, yeah, you're nodding your head. You know exactly what that's about, right? So they're going to convince you, oh, you have to pay 24% more. It's going to be more expensive, blah, blah, blah. Or no, we don't do stuff with invoice. We only take cash. Huge red flag. Run away from them, because you don't have a contract. You're doing this in the black. Anything goes wrong, it's 100% on you. You can't go after them. They might disappear with your money. Like, I've heard nightmare stories about that. I've been called by expats in the Peloponnese in particular. This doesn't happen so much in Athens, but like in the Peloponnese, they're like, I gave them all of this money down, and my project is like 20% done, and I can't find them. I don't know where they are. And I'm like, all right, do you know where their village is? Like, you're going to have to go and find them. So that's a big one. Another one is if the bid is way too low, right? So you go to somebody and you're getting a quote for a job, and you're like, oh, wow, this is a really good deal. It must be because Greece is so affordable. Yeah, Greece is super affordable. It costs way less than it does back home. But if it's really low, this means they're cutting corners. They're not going to use the best materials. They're cheaping out on things. For example, I was just at a property the other day that there was an elevator, and I know this is a brand new building. I know that elevator button was like €3. It's going to be broken in a year. Okay. So this is definitely something to look out for. If it sounds like too good of a deal to be true, it's too good of a deal to be true. And then let's see what else. There's, what I call the yes syndrome. Like, ne, kala, ne, 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 ne. You know how it is, right, Chloe? That's like, yeah, we get
That
the yes.
sounds familiar.
Does it sound familiar? Right. Yeah. Either they have no idea what you're saying, or they think you're a crazy Americanaki. Just like they all think I'm crazy because I have really high standards. I'm like, no, we don't do it this way. This is the way that it's done. And they're like, no, boss, you're crazy. You're Americanaki. No, we do it like this. I'm like, no, it's like this. So you're going to get yes syndrome quite a bit for sure. My own team has raised their standards quite a bit in learning from me and the way that we're used to having things done. But definitely, yeah, those are your top red flags you want to look up for, especially if you're renovating from abroad.
Yeah, for sure. The yes syndrome is something that I've experienced many times myself. So you really have to, fight for what you ask for, or you have to be super stubborn and really be clear about what you want. 100%. I think
Very
that's so important.
Specific about what you want. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
What are the most expensive DIY mistakes that you've seen?
Like, so you mean somebody tried to fix their house themselves without, okay, all right.
Correct.
I know like on the TV shows that looks like a lot of fun and a really great idea, but, and I love those TV shows. Like, I think they're great. Doing it here is really, it's very difficult because you're working with materials that you just have absolutely no idea about. So one of the most expensive, and I mean over 50,000 euro mistake that I've ever seen was someone that was renovating a 100-year-old villa. And again, they were like, oh, I'm going to do this myself. This is what I moved here for. This is my new life. I'm going to make my dream home. But they didn't think that when they said, hey, you have stone walls, that they're literally made of rocks that are filled with limestone, right? So that limestone absorbs water over time. So this poor guy was like patching up walls, and then it would start seeping out water again in the winter. And he was like, well, why is this happening? So then he got a hammer and he started like hammering at the walls, and one of the walls fell down because he hit it right in the sweet spot. Yeah, you really need to know what you're doing. If you're not a stone mason, don't touch the stone walls.
Oh my gosh. And that costed 50 grand.
It was 50,000 to fix. I mean, listen, 50,000 with, okay, bringing in 3 stone workers, a lot of time, making the walls perfect. There was a bonus. There's a happy ending. He got new insulation. So we did the walls back stone, but we put insulation, and then we put drywall, and we layered them a more modern way so that you just don't have cold stone walls for the winter time. But yeah, it was expensive for sure. You always want to consult somebody.
That is insane. I think I've definitely heard a lot of stories like that, and that's why professional assistance is always best and recommended. So,
For sure.
Do you have any stories from clients or from people you have met where, again, things didn't go as planned from an interior design perspective?
Well, I think that, again, like there are a lot of those stories. Regarding my own clients, I usually have to reset their expectations, right? Because things do take longer here. It's not that we work slower or we don't like to work. Actually, believe it or not, Greece in itself is ranked as one of the European countries where people work the most. Did you know that?
And I think it's one of the highest in Europe, in Greece, where people work the most.
People work the most.
And some people don't believe this because they think, it's a sunny Mediterranean country. So they're surprised, but actually, no, people work really hard here.
Yeah, they work really hard here. What people don't realize is we have these delays because we have mandatory quiet hours Monday through Friday. And actually, it's 7 days a week. We have mandatory quiet hours. So we can start work at 8 o'clock in the morning, but by 2 o'clock in the afternoon until 5:30 in the afternoon, we're not allowed to receive deliveries. We're not allowed to nail a picture into a wall. You can get painting done or anything that's like quiet work, but anything that's like really serious work, unfortunately, it has to stop. So we lose immediately 3 hours a day in the middle of the day, and then we have to stop again at 8 o'clock at night. So a lot of those things take longer. Also, just like regarding labor laws and strikes and things like that, you know, sometimes you're importing furniture, right? For example, and this is going from Germany all the way through these different countries, and we're down at the bottom, right? So you have to go through all these different countries, and every single one of those different countries has a different schedule for when they decide to protest or strike. So I like to pad my projects by like 2 or 3 weeks. If my furniture guy, for example, for a sofa says, oh, it's going to be 5 weeks, I'm actually telling my client 8 weeks. If it gets there in 5 weeks, I'm stoked. I'm like, yeah, all right. Everything is on time. But yeah, I think that's a big one. The other one is, I think that a lot of people are often disappointed with the creativity in this country when they're working with other professionals, like other designers. Everything here is like gray on white on gray. Yeah, so probably a little bit of that. I think that if you're considering working with a professional for your home, you want to have a certain idea of exactly what you want or show them photos of what you want. Or you just work with someone that is an expat and already kind of understands a little bit more about how we live in other areas. But that's about it. Not too many bad stories.
For sure. What hidden costs surprise foreigners the most?
Well, I'm transparent and give my clients a full list of everything. But I think a lot of the times it's going to be what's called scope creep. Right. So that's when the scope of the entire project starts to increase. And that is usually no fault of our own. That's usually a properly related issue. So, for example, when I bring my certified electrician into a property and he starts checking things after someone has purchased it, he's like, whoa, this electric is dangerous and it's not even legal. Like, this should get redone for safety reasons. So that's something that oftentimes surprises people. And then I think like hidden delivery fees sometimes. It's like no fault of the companies that are supporting us. It's just we deal with a lot of different couriers. And sometimes you'll get like a courier that shows up with your different materials and they're like, oh, it's on the 5th floor. And we're like, yeah, it's on the 5th floor. We put it on it's on your delivery form. It's on the 5th floor. Oh, well, that's an extra 60 euros. And it's like, okay, no, yeah, they do that quite a bit. You can't fight them. I fight them if I'm there. My team fights them if we're there. It's unfortunate, but it happens. So I usually tell my clients, hey, listen, let's add an extra few €100 for delivery fees just in case. Yeah, you're like, oh my God, no.
I didn't even know they did that. Yeah, oh my gosh, that's tricky. You have to think about all these things in advance.
There's a lot of stuff to think about in advance. Yeah, I've been here for 6 years now, so I've learned a lot of this. I have like a whole file of double check,
Right, triple check, quadruple check. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So my next question is, when is it absolutely necessary to hire a designer?
That's an unfair question. I'm always going to say always. Seriously speaking, I think that as a foreigner, if you want to save time, you want to save money, you want to work with vetted partners, with licensed electricians, licensed contractors, people that are fully set up, you want to consult a professional. You don't have to get full service right? When you work with a designer, you can get something as simple as what I offer clients, like a design audit. So I'll check out your apartment and I'll say, hey, these are the things that you can expect for yourself. You know, like you might want to patch this up or have an electrician look at this. But yeah, no, I think that as a foreigner, for sure, you always want to at least consult a professional and say, this is what I'm doing. These are my plans. What's the reality? You know, yeah, for a few hundred, you can save thousands.
100%. And obviously it's important to have somebody oversee everything, right? Which is your role.
Yeah, we do a lot of project management. Actually, that's one of the biggest parts of my job is, so for example, whether I'm doing what's called like a refresh, like my team is just painting your new apartment, or we're just doing like a little bit of light decorating, or, you know, full level remodel kind of stuff. I'm personally on top of everybody. There is a schedule, an installation. My clients get a copy of it. They're constantly getting updated. You get videos and picture updates. But I'm there. I'm literally bending over my workers to say, no, that line's not straight. You know, I need you to do this again. Or, okay, this is a little bit off, you know, make sure that this is corrected over here. And yeah, the project management side's really important in this country.
For sure, because that will prevent things from going wrong, and a client can be outside of Greece and trust you with overseeing everything from start to finish.
I video calls with my clients when things are going on, and they actually love it because they get to feel like they're part of the process. And it's exciting. You know, you see your place coming to life. And I mean, I enjoy it because I first do it on a computer and it's all lines and symbols and, you know, like electrical plans and floor plans. And then you just see this thing come to life, and it's quite a bit of fun.
Can you tell us a little bit more about, so the role of a designer? So how does a designer actually protect you? Sorry, my question again, I'm going to rephrase. What does a designer actually protect you from that people don't realize?
Okay, that's a really good question. I'm glad you asked. Thank you. Because we don't just make things beautiful. And first and foremost, we are financial advisors. We are risk management and project management. Yeah, so these are major things. We're here actually to protect your financial investment. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize that designers do. You know, I know that's not just, you know, from friends that remodel on their own, but, you know, lots of different stories that I hear. People start out a project and they're thinking, oh, okay, this is my budget and this is what I have in mind. By the time they're done, because they're not really sticking to a particular plan, they've gone over their budget by several thousands. And, you know, because your home is the biggest investment you're going to make in your lifetime, you want everything planned out from the beginning. So like I mentioned before, your electrical plan is the first thing that we do. Like, hey, what's your lifestyle? You know, how many plugs are we going to have in your bedroom? Or, oh, let's not do a standard plug. Let's do one with like UBC and USB plugs and get you some different chargers. Or let's pre-plan this sconce so you don't have to do it later. And so when you have all of that done before construction even begins, you're already saving money. So that's definitely the first thing that we protect people from, is the investment. And then the other thing is that we really consider your future, right? So this is your home. And let's say that you're retiring in Greece. This is going to be your home for 10, 15, hopefully 20 years, right? And we need to look at it in a way of, how is this going to grow with you? As we age, we have different needs. Our cabinets cannot be way up in the ceiling, right? So we have to look at like these little practical, silly things. You know, is the shower entrance door wide enough? Is the lighting bright enough? And then later, you know, as far as protecting the investment as well, if let's say that you're buying for investment in Greece, right? You want to flip the property. you're looking at doing this, or okay, so a designer is going to come in and say, all right, these are the things that are immediately going to increase your return on your investment. These are the things that are going to increase your return on your investment in 3 to 5 years. And these are the things that everybody looking to purchase that house or rent that house wants, right? So we're like, I don't know, we're just a really good stock to get.
If somebody insists on doing the renovations or interior design themselves, what are 3 things that they should absolutely not skip?
Okay, immediately don't skip adding onto your budget, because everything is going to cost you 20 to 30% more. And I'm talking about Greece, okay, very specifically to Greece, because we have this invisible tattoo on our forehead that says foreigner, right? And that comes with this invisible tax. And sometimes, and this is unfortunate, but it happens a lot, people aren't giving you the price that long-term residents get, right? I'm trying to be careful in the way that I say this because I don't want to offend any of my colleagues. We have a lot of very honest people here in Greece, right? But for example, I myself, I don't speak fluent Greek. I have an accent. They know that I'm not from here. What they don't always know is my profession. And I had an electrician one time quote me something that was 3 times the price of what the union standard is. What he didn't know is my profession. So I happen to know that there's an electrical union that says these are the prices from this to this. You cannot be charged more than this. Right. So I had to go back to the guy and I said, hey, listen, you're charging me 3 times more than what the job really is. I'm willing to give you this if you want the job, and I need some paperwork from you as well. No, because you don't know what you're talking about because you're an Americanaki. It came out. I said, no, look, here's the union and here's what it says. I said, tell you what, you can give me the job for the union price or I'm going to report you. Oh, I'm tough. Yeah, I'm there to defend. If you're going to do it on your own, add 20 to 30% or get ready to fight and spend a lot of stress, We also have a lot of discounts in my business. So that's kind of like a nice bonus of working with a designer. The second thing that you want to do is learn the limitations of the building, what regulations you need to follow, and hire professionals that are only going to give you receipts and invoices for sure. Yeah. The third is don't go cheap. Really save yourself some trouble. The Greek weather is really amazing. The stuff that it can do to not only your patio furniture, but the interiors of your home is impressive. Like I've seen stuff fall apart in 3 to 5 years. So if you're going to renovate a bathroom or if you're going to renovate a kitchen, go ahead and at least go mid-level. You don't have to get the most expensive thing in the market, but definitely don't go cheap and protect yourself that way. Those are my 3 tips. To do it on their own.
Get good quality stuff. Yeah.
Good quality now saves you so much money in the future. Buy it once and forget it, or buy it 5 times and always have a headache. It's like cheap clothes,
Yeah, for sure. Do you have one last piece of advice for expats who are seeking to renovate their Greek home?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say the first thing you want to do, you guys, is sit down and make a clear budget for yourself, like a realistic, clear budget. Know what you can afford and know how high you're willing to go, realistically willing to go. That is the first way to start a project. And then I would also advise you to go check out some interior design styles yourself. Not everybody really knows what they like. So have an idea, like don't be afraid of exploring new color or something for your fresh new life, right? You're moving to Greece. So, it doesn't have to be boho chic, but you could do really gorgeous city elegance, and there's a lot of options. So definitely check that out. And then most importantly, start early. Like if you are looking at property, even just thinking, or you said, okay, I'm moving to Greece, but I don't have a house yet. Start planning your budget. Start planning what you're bringing with you. What are you importing from home? Are you going to start from scratch, or is there anything important that you want to come with you? Like, these things take time. These are very personal and major life decisions. So I think that's important for people to start early with that.
Absolutely. And they have to fall in love with their home. You know what I mean? It has to feel cozy. It has to feel nice. Use Pinterest. I'm obsessed with Pinterest. I think it's one of the best tools out there. So yeah, make a vision board for yourself.
Absolutely. And there's House Beautiful magazine, which is fantastic. They cover so many different styles. You have Architectural Digest, so if you like modern. If you're into like English countryside, have a look at Veranda or Town and Country. And those are really great resources. And they're so much fun. And they're all on Pinterest. I know you love Pinterest, Chloe.
For sure. we're always sharing Pinterest boards and stuff. So yeah, we've reached the end of our interview. So thank you so much to our viewers for tuning in. And if you know somebody, or if you yourself want to renovate, refresh, or even just have somebody handle your new home setup and want a professional's help, you can go ahead and book a free design strategy call with Violeta and talk about your goals and the process to get there. We also have a special bonus for My Greek Expat Journey customers. So instead of the standard 30-minute call, you get 1 hour of deep dive strategy call. So thank you so much again to Violeta. It was so amazing to have you on the podcast. How did that feel for you?
That was fun. Yeah, I mean, I could talk about design forever, but yeah, absolutely. Too fast. It went too fast.
We'll do a series. We'll do a part 2 series.